Having trouble losing weight? Not too sure what to do? Feel like your metabolism is working against you? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the #1 cause of a slow metabolism. And I could say that it's a lack of muscle, because muscle really accounts for 70% of your basal metabolic rate and therefore a vast majority of the calories you burn every single day. I could say that because that would be true, but I'm not going to say that in this video. No, I'm going to tell you that the #1 cause of a slow metabolism is very low calorie dieting. The reason for this is very simple. When you eat too few calories on a daily basis, and that typically is about less than 25% or 25% less than what you really need, what ends up happening is your thyroid, which is the master gland of your metabolism, it regulates all of that stuff, it says, you know what, we're not getting a lot of calories in, so we're gonna lay off a couple workers. You guys don't need to be here that much. There's not as much work coming in right now, so you guys can take a vacation. So essentially what's gonna happen is the production of your entire body is gonna slow down to a halt. That's what happens when you don't bring enough stuff in, when you're not giving your body enough inputs for it to create what it needs to create, whether that's energy or movement or anything else. So when you extremely cut down on your calories, like most diets suggest that you do, the thyroid is the first one to go. And there's been numerous studies, and actually if you go to the blog, the link below, you can check out some of the studies that show this, where simply cutting caloric restriction over the course of a couple days dropped thyroid production or thyroid function by 38%, which is insane. And the thyroid is so important because if you do not keep your thyroid healthy, it does not matter what else you do, you're gonna have a very tough time losing weight because your metabolism is just too slow. So here's the thing is, when your metabolism slows down, right? So let's say you follow a low calorie diet and you lose weight. That's awesome, good for you. But what happens when you go off the diet? Because let's be honest, most diets are simply very short-term things. They're not a lifestyle. That's a big problem in and of itself. So what happens when you stop the diet and go back to the way you ate before, or whatever that might be? Well, you now have, let's say you've lost 10 pounds. You've also slowed your metabolic rate down. So now that when you bring food in, there's simply not enough workers to even use that fuel. So what ends up happening is it gets stored in your storage lockers, known as fat. So it's very easy to go through this yo-yo up and down type of weight loss, weight gain over life simply by doing that kind of stuff. And that's not a very healthy way of living and keeping weight off. So if you want to lose weight and keep your metabolism healthy, what you need to do is first and foremost strength train. You got to keep your muscles healthy because your muscles, as I mentioned at the beginning, are very important for the health of your metabolic rate. Second is strategically cycle your caloric intake. And I talk about this, this is kind of the foundation of my book, The All-Day Fat Burning Diet, where I show you how to use my proprietary 5-day food cycling formula to reset your metabolism so that you can strategically use days of slightly lower caloric intake and other days of higher caloric intake to reset your hormones so that you don't go crazy and your metabolism doesn't shut down. And most importantly, you can actually enjoy food while losing up to 5 pounds per week. So if you want to learn more about that, you can do so at the link below. But again, really important, keep your muscle healthy, strength train, lift heavier weights, and avoid low calorie diets. All right, so that is the key. Again, I could go on about this stuff all day, but I just wanted to let you know what the big problem is that's holding a lot of people back from a metabolic standpoint. And there can be other issues as well when we look at hormones, but ultimately it can come back down to, if you want to lose weight, low calorie dieting is not the be all and end all solution. All right, so thanks for joining me. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you want to go a little bit deeper on this topic and get some really solid solutions, go to the link below this video and you can learn more about some of the stuff that we're doing to help you and thousands of other people lose weight and keep it off. And once again, thanks for joining me. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Yuri Al-Kaim, and I'll see you in the next video.